video was hard for me to make, so I took a couple of weeks for it to actually release it. So you'll see why. But there is the tour that I promised included. So a little bit different from me today, but with everything I've shared, I've tried to be real with you, and I am about to share something real for me, and that may affect the channel. Well, Happy New Year from myself and my 4 little chickens in the Yarra Valley, Victoria. I just want to dedicate this video to all of you that have supported me through the past 3 years on my channel. I just want to share with you a couple of things that are going to be happening this year, or may happen this year. I've been reassessing my time and the challenge it is to film for YouTube in amongst doing all of this, taking care of this property and family, and you know, I'm getting up there in age, the way things have changed with YouTube, and I'm not sure how much longer I'll be able to keep the channel going. I had hoped to eventually monetize it so it would help supplement a little bit, as I'm actually on no income. I had hoped for that to help out, but it's not looking like that's going to happen anytime soon. It's taken me 3 years, and I'm not quite, and I'm almost at the 1,000 subscribers, but my watch hours are not there, and the amount of videoing I have to do and the time that takes is quite extensive, so to get those watch hours. So unless there's more support with the channel in the next few months, I might be winding it right back. I may give it like a monthly tour still, or I may decide to let it be. So I do have another channel that has been neglected because I've been focusing on this one, and it's my other passion, which is as an artist. So I may have to shift gears and focus on that part of my life and see if I can get something moving with that. So they are competing passions, and that both need a lot of time. So it is quite a juggle, and I do a lot of this on my own. My husband does support me. He just, you know, I mean, he supports me financially, obviously, otherwise we wouldn't be eating at all. He supports me in the garden, building structures and that, but it's, you know, predominantly I'm doing all that work and trying to share it with you on YouTube to help you as well. So I love that, and I love the engagement, and I would really miss it, but it takes a big part of my life to offer that. You know, the algorithm is kind of fighting against us to a large degree, because it's not showing people that subscribe and want to see the content. It's actually showing new people all the time the content that may or may not be interested. If the subscribers aren't seeing the content, not knowing you've got new videos, then, you know, it's going to affect the watch hours, in my opinion. So there's a lot of YouTubers struggling with that. The Australian channels have a little bit harder time getting out there than perhaps the US and UK channels in this niche. That's a decision that I will make in a few months' time and see how it goes, but I'm kind of looking at my time and how difficult it was for me last year to to do everything, and it became really stressful at the end of the year, and I got quite sick for about a month. And then I do have the situation, because I'm on a suburban block with neighbours all around, like I have 6 neighbours in effect, so I have potential of 6 lots of noise, or people watching me, you know, so while I'm trying to film. So it does make it really difficult to film as well in an urban setting, to share it. So I do my best, and I have been very consistent over the past 12 months, and I've brought a lot of videos. I think I've done on average a couple a week for you, but unless they're being watched and watched to the end, it's hard for me to gauge whether it's really having enough value to warrant that much of my time. Today we'll have a look around at the garden to see where we are in January, because it's just looking amazing. It just delights my heart, and I know that some of you just get really delighted having a look around too. So we'll have a look around. I will just show you different things and end the video there, but I just wanted to let you know, be real with you, and let you know where I am today on this channel. I thank you for all those who have supported me, but I just pray that it gets a little bit more traction in the next few months, but we'll see. Now, if you have been following along, you'll notice that bed number 2 is just like exploded. It is so large and there's so much growing in it now. I did unfortunately have to put bags over my sunflowers this morning. I caught a rosella just as it happened. Happened to be looking out a window and spotted one on the sunflowers. They've only just started flowering. In fact, some of them up the top haven't even flowered. They haven't opened, but I've had to put them under bags, and you'll see I just leave it open and the bees can still get in there for their to pollinate and have their nectar, but the birds not so much. So it's not as pretty as having the flowers there, but I'll show you a little bit of B-roll so that you can see the flowers. Now the pumpkins are going amazing and they've been really fun to watch just even over the week. I'm doing a daily vlog in the stories if you want to follow along and get a 2 to 3 minute snapshot of each day, just little bits and pieces each day. These pumpkins have grown so much just in a few days. They're just they were like tiny little things only 4 days ago, so they're really taking off. I'm just hoping they're all pollinated and we're going to have a bumper pumpkin year, which would be really nice because it happens to be one of my favourite vegetables. This one is really happy, so it's trying to take off down here, and I will actually train that back up onto the support so it's growing up and over here. Oh, we've got a layer going on there. Oh, she's a good girl. She's coming out to tell me. Yeah, look. She's coming out to brag. Oh, you're a good girl. Thank you. Yes, clever girl. Only 2 of them are laying. So, okay. So down here, these tomatoes are loving being in the pots. They're waiting to go out, but they will need to go out very soon or into a bigger pot because I really don't want to waste those tomatoes, even though I've got about 40 in the garden. And the carrots are getting up there too. I'm going to watch them, and there's little baby carrots that could be pulled. They're the purple variety. And we have been picking, oh my goodness, lady. We've been picking the zucchinis daily, and one plant is throwing out more than the other, but I think that one's going to catch up too. But this one gives you an idea of how many's growing on the plant. Quite a few. Now, I don't hand pollinate at all. I rely on the pollinators to do that, and occasionally I will get, there's one right at the back, it's a bit hard to see, but there's one right at the back that hasn't been pollinated because the leaves are covering the flowers and obviously something hasn't seen it. The rest of them have, so I would rather just have one now and then not be pollinated than be doing all of that extra work. I'll just let nature do its thing. Now these are due to be retrained. I'm training them vertically around the poles, so I'm going to actually twist them around the poles and train them up, so I won't need as much length vertically, because as they turn around they'll take up less space going vertically, but it will get them off the ground, and eventually underneath I'll be able to plant things underneath. At the moment there's so many leaves on here, but I let them pretty much do that for a while until they really get going like that, and then I start taking the leaves from the bottom underneath the fruit, so not above the fruit. So I start taking those, and I will show you a bit later, and there is a video in my library of videos on a beautiful recipe for eating the leaves, mainly the stalk part of it. It's really delicious, but it has to be prepared a certain way. So I will be doing that soon. Probably this week I will start retraining, because I've got some string around that, but I will start retraining those and take some leaves off. And then I've got some beans growing along the very edge of here. I try to use up as much space in the garden as possible and plant out as much as I can, because I find a full garden is a happy garden, not an overly crowded garden though. You still have to understand what plants, spaces they need and how far you can put those, push those boundaries. If you go too tight on the spacing, you get less produce and, you know, squibbly little plants, so, or they struggle for light. So you'll see in here that pumpkin actually is not doing as well as the one on the other side because it's got all this shadow. That's a bit of excess pumpkin that I put in there. Everything else in here is pretty happy and timed in a way that when the sunflowers are finished, that will open it back up for more room for the tomatoes, which are interdeterminate, so they'll keep growing up and up and up. Everything else is happy in there. So I've got tomatoes happening. There's lots of little babies in there. That's a full bed. So that's number 2. And then for a power hour, I'm going to plant out this bed with seedlings that are well and truly past wanting to get out. You know, I've got some capsicums in there, some more cherry tomatoes. These are from saved seeds from my mum and dad, who they plant these tomatoes, little cherry tomatoes, out every year from their seeds, and they're pretty productive, and they're locally, so they're not far away from me, my parents. So I've got 2 to go in there. These are the first 2 to put in, and then there's another Golden Delight. There's a couple in there I'm going to put in. And then there's some Lazy Housewife beans that I'm going to grow up the trellis. This side, I think the seeds in those pots over there failed. They're a Trailing Tears bean, because I think I saw them start to come up, and then I think the heat just knocked them. So I don't know if they're going to grow or not, but I'm just going to put the soil in there. And then once the soil's in there, the beans will be inside it, and this is much more mulched and cooler for them. Not cold, but like kept moist. They might come up, because that can happen. So over here is gem squash. I'm going to plant the gem squash along here, and there's some corn to go in. So that's sweet corn. So that's going to go in the centre, pretty much in front of or around the spring onions. I've got spring onions everywhere, so it doesn't matter if they're there. And then just here I've got parsnip that I've let this plant go to seed. So I talked about this in a Power Hour Gardening Challenge video where I prepared this bed. And there's a little, I'll just see if I can get it. I don't know if it'll, I'm holding the camera so it's a little bit hard to focus. I'm not sure if you can see that, but there's a ladybird there over on this one too. There's ladybirds on this, so they're protecting my seeds. And this plant particularly, parsley and parsnip, the fresher the seeds, the better, the more likely you are to get germination. So I particularly wanted my own seed of that to be able to take the seed as soon as it's ripe and plant it as soon as possible. So yeah, there's that. So there's a couple of plants already in this garden. That I'm not sure. I'm still have to check what that is. I know that's a vegetable at the back there. And there's some self-sown either sprouting broccoli or the walking stick kales. Or, although they're too, yeah, it has to be. They're too tall to be the cabbage. Yeah, so they have popped up here, and I've taken out the old ones out of this bed. And there's fresh ones just growing by themselves. Now under this bit of hay, there is a pineapple sage. Now you can see it trying to pop up here again. I'm going to eventually take it out of this bed because as much as it's beautiful, it smells beautiful, it's a bit of a bed hog when it's happy. So I'm going to move it into a bed that is less obliging with the soil. It can go in there, and I know that it'll thrive there anyhow. So. And this area here I'm still got to clean up. So we have got a big fig growing up here. That will be cut back really hard after I get figs from it, if I do get figs from it. there's some on it, but the birds sometimes grab them. The comfrey needs to be cut back for fertiliser in there. And then I've got pepinos growing. So I was going to pull them out, and then I saw this fruit underneath. It's hiding underneath. And I just picked a double flowered one off it. Like the flower was a double conjoined flower, and it created pretty much 2 pepinos joined together. So just picked that off this. But these are beautiful. I love pepinos. They're very popular with both my husband and I. So there are some fruit hiding amongst there. So I'm going to let the fruit finish before I pull that out. And then I think I'll propagate some and take up another area with them because they're worth it. So this arbour, or the archway, is pretty much under control, apart from right at the back. There's some grass areas I've got to get on top of. The grass is going to persist through the straw, but I'm going to just keep laying it on and hope for the best. But in here, Yukon is very happy still in the corner here. And these are strawberries and spring onions and salad bonnet from previously. But I've got all these new plantings in here. So I've put some tomatoes and capsicums and some cucuzza over here. So these are the cucuzza plants there. They're just starting to take off. I've got some perpetual spinach, a little, oh, there's a lizard, a little baby echinacea that I'm monitoring. Lots of peas from the peas drawer. That I think is an apple cutting that I put in. I can't even remember. I'm going to have to go back and check my diary. Tomato in here, some rainbow chard, and I've got a grape on here that I will probably graft onto, but I'm just letting it grow there for now. And the ginger here, some yarrow, calendula, collards, yellow, raspberry, another fig that I took a cutting of. It's now a tree, a little tree. Some garlic I need to pull up. Some more strawberries. This is the tromponcino. So this year, because this wasn't ready, I decided rather than grow it in the ground below the arches, I will start it on the very edge of this bed next to it. So I popped it in there, and then I've been poking it through the wire for it to come out here and eventually reach, this one's not far from this arch. When it reaches the arch, they can grow over the arches. But look at the tromponcinos. I just find them fascinating, these. So here's another one here. There's quite a lot on the plant. So you can see it all behind there. And I'm poking it through. There's even tromponcinos on the other side of that. So I'm assuming it's going to grow up both sides of this. Look at this tromponcino just here. I've only just discovered these this morning. So I thought I'd be able to train the main stem through here and have it all over here. But lesson learnt, it's not going to happen like that. It's going to be growing both sides. But it's really lovely to see these growing so happily. And there's probably, just quickly looking at that one plant, it's got about a dozen on them. All the flowers are opening and there's ants all over it. But they will help pollinate too, moving from flower to flower. But right up to the tips there, heaps of them. So I'm hoping that plant really does take off and I get a lot of tromponcinos because they're great value. The whole stem of it, they can grow up to about 1 metre, but it's just this whole stem from here all the way down to here. There's no seed in that. It's only seed in this little end bit, and so when you chop them, they're really convenient for cooking. You get these nice, easy discs to cook with. So that's just bed 1, 2, number 1 and 2, and the archway, almost half of the archway I showed you. For today, my garden is so big now, there's so many things to show you that I can't put it all in one video. So each video will be very different to the others, but that is part of what's going on. There's a lot. I mean, I'm looking past the camera and there's a lot behind me. I'm thinking I could show them that, couldn't show them that. But hopefully, next video, I'll show you a bit more, and then the next minute a bit more. But I can't wait to show you the studio area because that is absolutely gorgeous right now. So make sure that you are subscribed. You do comment, that helps actually. And if you watch the video to the end, that will help you actually get the content showing up in your feed. But otherwise, search me up again and come back for that, and check out the stories, the daily stories that I'm sharing. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye for now.